some people think, and I know I'm over time, today is zipped by. Some people may believe, ladies and gentlemen, this election does not matter. I am obviously not one of those people. And you know who else is not one of those people? Sean Hannity and Steve Doocy, I think that is. Or Steve Doocy's slightly skinnier brother, perhaps. But the Sean Hannity comes on Fox and Friends, I guess remotely, or does he actually show up at the thing? No, he's actually there. Okay, so he goes to one of these, like, where are they? Breakfast with Friends. They're in Hobe Sound, Florida, to discuss the Biden-Harris administration's leadership. Okay, so they're in suck-up town, MAGA land, some, like, MAGAt bar that serves breakfast, doing Fox and Friends, you know, down home with the people. No tough questions, only a greasy spoon.
Such short notice came out to support Harry, the family business for 72 years. We don't want this guy to go out of business. About 35 minutes ago,
Hold on, I'm sorry. You don't want this guy to go out of business? Tough shit. Nobody's ordering bacon anymore. Haven't you listened to Trump? If you're in the breakfast, look at the size of that French toast. You can't get bread anymore. People they dream about bread. The American French toast is dead.
turns out we had Brett Baer. Everybody's pitching in. Brett Baer was in the kitchen. He was making eggs. Who's our next contestant? Oh, I think you've seen this guy who's helping us. The great Sean Hannity. All right, Sean, let's go. Let's breakfast go.
So they're just all getting French toast. That's the breakfast that's the manly breakfast. I guess no one can afford eggs and bacon anymore. It's just to let them eat cake in the form of breakfast. Which is what French toast is, god damn it, even though there are eggs and bacon.
Hey guys, how are you?
Jesus Christ.
Love you.
Yeah.
Nice. There we go. Right
Yeah. It's client number 3 serving breakfast.
Friends, this is what you're missing by not being in the free state of Florida. Just saying.
Yeah, they don't have French toast in other states. The fuck are you talking about, dummy? Also, that's all you get? Dry French toast with powdered sugar on top of it? The fuck are you doing? What, did you already eat?
The free breakfast state of Florida.
Free breakfast state of Florida.
All right.
Hey guys, how are you?
All right.
Nice to see you. Hey. How are you guys?
All right,
Good to
come
see
on
you.
over here.
How are you?
Sean
Hey, well, you can tell Trump is going for the youth vote, and Fox is there to
has
help.
got a lot of fans.
Hello. Nice to see you. All
Okay,
right.
Sean, this is the guy who gets one of the eggs, one of the orders. There you go. And that lady across from him gets the other one.
I promised this lady over here one.
There you go. Give that
There you
one
go.
to her.
Where's the lady I promised? She was sitting right here. I'm going to put that right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Hannity.
Waiting tables like he should be.
By the way, I love what you're doing. Thank you.
How great is this?
This is great.
Here, you
By
sit
the
in
way,
this chair. You sit in that chair.
Sorry, wrong chair.
It's like a town hall for assholes.
You get the close-up camera.
Oh, I get the close-up camera? First of all, thanks for what you're doing here. Thank you to all of you for helping Harry's. Thank you all.
There's a DeSantis sign and a John Snyder sign? Is that the guy from fucking Dukes of Hazzard?
President Trump, we ran a video. He
I
did
know.
something in the first hour because this is such an important part of South Florida.
Big
I know
time.
this is an important part of America to you.
No, I have been here. I know this restaurant. I was here with the great one, Mark Levin. By the way, Mark Levin says hi to everybody. Mark Levin says hi. He's recovering.
Who?
He had a little surgery on his quad, but he's doing better, thank God.
Good.
Yeah, so, well, it's great. Hi, back in LJ, Brian, and Ainsley. Hi, guys.
And it's a busy day, and it's great. It's great to have you. Because we're about 30-some days before the election.
Yeah.
Looking down the road, Donald Trump actually cut the video for Harry from his campaign plane.
Also, yeah, from his plane, because lazy. But also, it's so sad that breakfast places nobody's ordering breakfast anymore, especially in South Florida. You know what I mean? It's like the American dream is dead for all of these people. There's not a slice of bacon in that whole fucking place.
Yesterday, the Democrats are pulling out all the stops. Now they've got, in addition to the fact that there's very little mainstream media interviews and stuff like that, they've got one of the best.
She doesn't talk to the media. Because if she does, nobody would ever vote for her. So they're hiding her. It's a national disgrace.
Well, what she's got going.
You do realize that Trump will talk to everybody, and what he says is a national disgrace.
For right now is she's got one of the most popular surrogates in the world, and that is Barack Obama is going to be helping her out.
Okay, good luck with that. You don't transfer.
Yeah, he's not a positive influence
for leadership from one person to another.
Okay, so is that why none of the Republicans are supporting Donald Trump, and why they won't? Because Trump just doesn't believe that. I mean, you don't need, former Republican presidents or whatever to step up or, support, because he isn't. It's not like he's going to, get some of their leadership skills through osmosis.
And at least Barack Obama sat, did interviews, spoke. Here we are, 33 days out of an election. She sponsored the new Green Deal, $93 trillion.
Also, there is no new Green Deal. It's the Green New Deal, and it's the New Deal part that everybody is referencing. And by the way, the, quote, New Deal aspect of the Biden administration is clear to everyone. That includes the infrastructure bill. That's part of the New Deal. The fact that it is, that the infrastructure bill and the American Rescue Plan has aspects of like green energy in it and throughout, and a lot of like environmentally conscious rules and laws in it, made effectively the infrastructure bill that was bipartisan is effectively in many ways a jobs program, because we're recreating a lot of things that have been underserviced as far as roads and bridges and dams and breakwaters and all that kind of shit, but in a way that is environmentally conscious, which would make it the Green New Deal, which means that any of the Republicans who voted for it voted for a Green New Deal kind of thing.
End of capitalism.
The end of capitalism. Yep, that's I mean, there's no better way to really state it. I mean, it's like, look, Donald Trump may be a threat to democracy, but Kamala Harris doesn't want capitalism anymore. That's the belief system. That's where we're going. Just straight up communist. She's a Marxist. That's where he's going. It's lame. It's weak. It's without merit and stupid. But what do they got left?
Nobody's asked her a question. She sponsored government health care for all, and, with the elimination of private health insurance. No answers.
No, she supports the ACA and a public option now.
How do you like this for illegal immigrants?
Yeah, lady.
Now, the FEMA money that should be going to North Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee and South Carolina and Florida. Yes. Okay, that money... Apparently, FEMA, they didn't tell us until yesterday, is broke. They raided the FEMA lockbox to give it to Harris Biden illegals so that we can give them free housing, food, health care, education, and sex change surgery.
Criminal.
You gotta be kidding me.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, someone is. You're full of shit. They didn't raid the FEMA box for that. They had actual emergencies. You'll recall that some of the people who were in like New York, for example, they had to move people from a resettlement area into a school overnight because of the rains and the flooding, that kind of stuff. The only money they don't, and that lockbox, by the way, shouldn't ever run out, but Republicans won't vote for the funding.
And you're down here in South Florida. Hurricane season runs through the end of November. We got 60 more days.
They don't have any money. It is
right. So obviously the House and the Senate should pass. I mean, now the Senate would pass it immediately, I think, even though, Ron Paul and Ron Johnson would fight it. But, the House could bring up an extra fund, extra funds for FEMA. They could, couldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
It is a national disgrace. Now, we've given $200 billion to Ukraine. They just gave another $8 billion in the last...
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We gave it to American arms manufacturers largely. In areas like Florida and North and South Carolina and Oklahoma.
Week, They have all of this money.
And Missouri, by the way, which is one of the reasons why, like, Josh Hawley and these motherfuckers, they always lean red in those states because there's so much arms, like so many arms makers, mostly ammo in Missouri, that they, somehow they think, well, we gotta have these Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment motherfuckers in there. Otherwise, they'll cut off our extra, our income stream, because while we sell a bunch of this ammo to the U.S. government, we sell the overproduction to the public.
They're giving to Somalia, and they're giving to Haiti, and they're giving to Yemen, and we're giving money to the Taliban, and we're not helping out people in our country, in North Carolina, South.
Yeah, we are.
Carolina, Georgia.
Yes, we are. We are helping them out. I mean, again, so this guy wants you to think that National Guard people, police officers, FEMA, TEMA, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, North Carolina's NECEMA or whatever it's called, they're just going, fuck them. That's what Sean Hannity wants you to think. That everybody working in that area where people have been, like people have died, people have lost their homes. He didn't say we need to do more. We're slow walking, blah, 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 which is a lie too. He's saying we're not giving anything. Well, here, listen, say it again, dumb motherfucker. Say it again. Here we go. Maybe, oops. Oh, it's just the audio, sorry. Sometimes it switches over to the thing. There we go.
We're not helping out people in our country, in North.
Yeah, again?
Money to the Taliban. And we're not helping out people in our country, in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. This is Kamala's Katrina.
All right. First of all, I know that's what he was getting to. He wants it to, that he thinks Kamala's Katrina is going to catch on. The difference is she actually went down there. She's already been there. So has Biden. They've got plenty of stuff. They brought in all kinds of support. They weren't slow on the uptake like Katrina. It wasn't race-based. There's no looting. There's no fucking gunfights breaking out. None of that shit. They're providing stuff for everybody. This is just, like, lame. But he starts with, we're not helping, which is a lie. And the other part of it is, this motherfucker shits on blue states and blue cities all the time. And you know who pays for most of this disaster relief? The blue cities and the blue states. California, with all of its emergencies, its fires, its mudslides, all the stuff that happens there, earthquakes, still provides more tax dollars to help places like Tennessee and North Carolina and South Carolina and Florida during these emergencies than those states do to help themselves. So get the fuck out of here with your bullshit bootstrapper redneck nonsense that you don't even participate in. This motherfucker is so far south, he doesn't have to worry about being anywhere near the hurricane season itself. And look how packed this fucking place is.
Because they have been missing in action. Joe is sitting his ass on the beach.
No, he isn't. They just showed footage of him in the fucking White House on a Zoom call with the governors, dum-dum.
In Delaware, couldn't get off his ass to help the country.
Again, is this guy just... Is it a time of day thing? Does he just lie more in the morning? Does he have like a governor on his fucking brain that, keeps, like, tamps the lies down to a presentable kind of fiction? This is just gross. This is, and again, in castigating Harris and Biden, what he's really doing is shitting on the people working in FEMA. The people that are actually working on the ground, the first responders. This motherfucker is basically saying first responders are throwing up their hands and blowing it off and letting Americans die. That's what that is. But they're shortchanging these areas and just going, let them die. And people are following it. Here's the other thing. Show me the fucking FEMA people that are working down there, or the people, the emergency management people there who are like, nah, we just can't, I don't know, we're not going to help those people. They're in the wrong area. They've had reports of that. From who? The TEMA. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency was the one that was like diverting shit that they had and wouldn't let FEMA come in and fill the gap. Good Lord.
She was out in Hollywood with her Hollywood friends. It is a national disgrace. And I will tell you.
She was literally just in North Carolina and Georgia.
It infuriates me.
Because you're stupid. Well, are you mad because it makes it harder for you to lie in public? I mean, it doesn't seem to.
That we're not putting American citizens first.
We are. We are, fuckwad.
It is time. If you want to change this country, this election, if you want to know how bad it'll get, look at the border, look at the economy, look at defund.
You mean the jobs numbers today, dum-dum? You mean the stock market? You mean the fact that wages are rising at 4% and inflation is 2.7% and going down? Look at that part. What's happening at the border, motherfucker, right now? What are you doing? Where's the footage? And I don't want to see shit from 2020. Right? I don't want to see shit the first couple of months of 2021 when we finally had vaccines.
Fund, dismantle, no bail laws. Look at Afghanistan.
Bail laws are local. They're local, fuckwad. The president has no control over the bail laws in a state. None. None at all. Zero. And he's going to say Afghanistan.
I'm sorry, look at Ukraine. Look at the war in Europe. We're about to have an explosion in the Middle East because of their failed policies.
What failed policies? Supporting Israel? What's the failure? I guess Sean Hannity thinks that our policy of guaranteeing that Israel can protect itself, I guess Sean Hannity's position is now we should have just let Hamas kill all the Israelis and rape their way all the way to the West Bank. That seems to be Sean Hannity's plan. That's the policies of him and Donald Trump now.
They made Iran rich again by lifting the Trump sanctions. They opened the...
Trump made Iran rich by not having sanctions. And then when he got caught, he put on sanctions. They have no leverage in the sanctions, though. That's the issue.
Borders, 11.5 million people, murderers.
11.5? 11.5? That's the same number we always hear. 11.5. That's paltry. Trump's going to be mad. He's saying 25, 30 million. Probably there'll be 200 million people coming in.
Rapists, violent criminals, gangs, cartels. Oh,
he's worried that somebody's going to come and take his job.
And known terrorists in the country. These are not smart people. This is not.
Also, known terrorists in the country. If we don't know where people are coming from and anybody's just coming in, how the fuck do we know known terrorists have come in? Except that we caught them. Right? Do you think no terrorists come through if we don't catch somebody? Right? When Trump says no, there were no terrorists that came across the border, maybe it was because during COVID, Customs and Border Patrol was short-staffed, so nobody was checking.
Not good for our future or our kids' future. This election matters. So.
Listen, I mentioned Donald Trump was campaigning yesterday, cut that video for Harry. He is going to Butler, returning
Saturday.
Tomorrow.
He's in Georgia, I believe North Carolina today.
The folks we were talking to earlier, they're concerned about his security, but at the same time, they think the Secret Service has got it. And I mentioned earlier.
So they're concerned, but they're not really concerned. Great. I'm glad we brought it up.
When I flew into Palm Beach Airport yesterday, and I didn't describe the security feature that is different, they've amped it up for him, which is important.
You know, all I could say is how we got to a point where they claimed it was a slope roof in Butler. I used to be a roofer, Steve. Yep. You know, fell nearly 3 stories off a roof, busted up my arm, my face. So
explains so much. Prefrontal cortex damage.
I know what a slope roof is. That was not a slope roof. They lied. Then they said they have this area around 4 holes on Trump International, and they have a known area where paparazzi hide out to get pictures and videos of Donald Trump. They never swept the area. A guy with an AK-47 and a scope got within 300 yards, 130 yards in Butler. And I got to tell you.
Yeah, but again, there are public roads within 30 yards of Trump at any given point. Even if they swept the area, if you waited till the sweep was done and you just rolled up. The weird part is that the dude was there all day. If somebody just used a drone to figure out where Trump was, you could basically time out when he's going to be from one hole to the next. The sweep comes, you see those guys coming, he's going to be along in a little bit, and then you could do him in just by running up to the gate and finding where they are. If they don't spot you right away, the fuck is what's outside the grounds when he's actually at these fucking holes? And again, the whole fucking that Trump International, there's a road on every side of it. It's just a big rectangle.
Tell you something. This can't happen in our country. And
tell that to the Kennedys and Lincoln's descendants. I mean, what do you tell it to fucking Gerald Ford's relatives or Reagan's kids?
Now we know we have Iranian assassination squads.
Yeah. It's a lot going on. Sean, thank you.
By the way, let's give a big thanks to Steve Doocy and all
what a sucker.
of you. Thank you all.
Hey, listen. There are 500 people here. They all want a selfie. Who wants a selfie with Sean? Line up. More Fox and Friends live from...
Oh, that's Doocy fucking with him.
the Native. I'm Steve Doocy.
Yes, you are. And you know how to annoy Sean Hannity, and that's to promise a bunch of strangers a picture with him. That's how you know Steve Doocy can't stand Sean Hannity. And on that note, guys, that is, I think, the big takeaway from that interview with Sean Hannity, where, and again, when news people interview their own people on their own channel, I always find that annoying. Unless they have a book, don't have your own hosts on as a guest. And I guess the other one would be if they just had an interview with somebody. You did Stephanie Rule had done an interview with Kamala Harris, and so a lot of the other anchors had her on as a guest to promote both the interview and to talk about what it was like and that kind of stuff. That's fine. If they're selling a book, it's one thing. But if you just basically patch it up because he just happens to be dicking around Florida, by the way, during a time when the American dream is dead and people are apparently dying and no one is helping, Sean. No one is helping in Georgia and North Carolina and Tennessee and all these places. No one is helping. But I'm glad you're handing out fucking French toast while no one is helping. Guy's a multi-millionaire. You want to talk about what Samaritan's Purse is doing? Think what you will about Franklin Graham and whether it's performative Christianity, and there's an argument to say that it is. But the food is the food, and people can eat it. If people put clothes on their back, that's a good thing. And I don't have to like them to appreciate the generosity of the people who give that stuff. But Sean Hannity could write a fucking check for everything that Samaritan's Purse brought to that area. Just saying. He could write a fucking check and cover everything they brought and never even notice the money is gone. And the fact that he has the ability to do that, and it's no skin off his nose. If you knew you could feed 150 people with $20 and you had $600 in your pocket, what kind of an asshole wouldn't give the $20, right? You're not even going to notice. Yeah, Dolly Parton donated $1 million. Sean Hannity, fucking nothing. He's handing out fucking French toast at a little fucking like dipshit eatery pro like MAGA breakfast place that they're ginning up the business for. In between breakfasts with Trump's mega donors like Steve Witkoff, the guy who was he was talking about how he went golfing with that guy, the guy that when Ruth almost took a pot shot at Trump. Sean Hannity was having breakfast with that guy that morning. Were he and Steve Witkoff sitting around trying to spitball how they could turn a couple of $1 million into $10 million worth of support for the people that were there? Was he sitting? Steve Witkoff's a real estate guy. Were they talking about speeding builders into the area? so they could rebuild houses for people or set up temporary housing or any of that shit? Was that the discussion? Does anybody think for a fucking second that Sean Hannity and Steve Witkoff were having, brunch talking about how they can help in Georgia? Meanwhile, Biden and Harris are getting as much resources to the area as they possibly can. They're coordinating with the governors of the areas. It's a very professional response. Even the videos that we're seeing of people like, there's no help. There's literally cops and support 18 feet away from the people in these videos. And Sean Hannity, this rich fucking teabag, has the nerve to say, we're not helping Americans. We're not helping. The taxpayer, the federal government, we're not doing anything. Those people, we're leaving them. According to Sean Hannity, the highest paid host on Fox News, currently in America, we are letting people die just 'cause. And I mean, this is like the border talk. So he believes that, I don't know, Biden believes in open borders, whatever the fuck. But does that mean that the people who work at the border are following that order? They're just like, well, they say it's an open border. He wants an open border. Let's give him an open border, boys. Okay, everybody in. Is that what Sean Hannity is saying is happening? No. Because he knows it's bullshit. But that's what he's saying when he's castigating the administration, saying no help is coming, because that means all the people in the chain of command and the people who actually do it on the ground aren't doing fucking anything. They're sitting by watching people die. According to Sean Hannity, people who work in FEMA dedicate their lives to helping people during emergencies, who have taken that job because they're willing to put themselves in harm's way right away, helping as many people as they can. According to the eatery in Hobe Sound, Florida, is where Tiger Woods, Alan Jackson, Celine Dion, and the late Burt Reynolds reside. Yeah, it's a retirement community full of wealthies. Good Lord. Just so fucking lame. And I will say, the upside, the silver lining to this hurricane cloud, I want to be very clear. The silver lining to it is that Sean Hannity is miserable. You listen to how he's talking, he is panicking. And the reason he's panicking is because he hangs out with Trump, they're very close, and he's seen the inside polls. He knows he's going to lose again. He knows it. He knows Trump's on a hard fade. He knows Trump's losing his fucking mind. And he knows that the only thing waiting in the wings for Donald Trump is the kidney.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
I've heard that. I've heard that from a couple of people now, and I'm not sure I believe it. But I mean, I want to believe it. That's the important thing. I want to believe it more than anything in the whole world. Okay? But it might not be true.